This was the first trigger I started using from the Cactus range, and I started using it back on the X Pro 1, I think. When I was looking for an off-camera flash solution, the biggest thing that I liked about these Cactus triggers is this dial. You essentially roll left for less power and right for more power. You can individually control which flash you're adjusting by the grouping system. On the left, you pretty much press and hold the button, you roll right, and that particular flash that's assigned to that group gets more power. When shooting off-camera flash, that's basically for me, the core ability that any off-camera flash solution gives you is that portability. A few years later, they updated it with the HSS version. Just to explain really quickly, these triggers know which cameras that they're sat on. That's what lets the triggers, the flash and the camera work together, so you can shoot TTL and HSS using these two models. This is the Sony specific model, and this is the pretty much all other cameras model. When you put this trigger on top of the camera, it will actually auto-detect. You can use the menu settings to also do it manually, but it will detect which camera that it's actually sat on. So with the Mark II, I can shoot up to 8,000th of a second. With the Mark I, I believe, you could have shot up to 1,000th of a second on certain cameras that have leaf shutters like the X100. But with my XT1, I think at the time, I could shoot up to 125th or 100, around that area. But certainly being able to shoot at 8,000th of a second lets you shoot in many more creative and interesting ways. Particularly for me, when shooting on location, I can't always control the sun. Using off-camera flash means I can control the amount of light that I'm giving into a situation and how much of the ambient light is there by using the shutter to actually control the amount of ambient light. I want to quickly show you how that works and how simple that is, and actually how reliable that system is as well. So here we actually have a Cactus V6 controlling a RF60X. This is actually the Mark II, sorry, so this is the HSS version. I'll quickly demonstrate turning it on and increasing the power and decreasing the power. It's very, very simple. Make sure they're set on the same channel. I'm currently using channel 1, which will be very rare that you'd actually have to change it unless you're shooting with other people around using the same system. 4 different groups, and you can set multiple flashes into each group, but really simple for the minute. This is set on group A. This is set on group A. If I press and hold the button, you'll see it'll illuminate. This is now showing it's on full power, the same as what's showing me on the back of the trigger. So once this is on the back of the camera, I can see just by looking at the LCD on here which flash is going to give the amount of light. The dial on the back of here, if I scroll left, you'll see the number decrease. So that's now on the minimum power, which is 128th that this particular flash will give. And if I scroll right, it's now on full power, so it's showing a 1. To turn the flash off again, very simple, just press the A button. One of the things that I love about the Cactus system is the universal nature. I can explain this really quickly using this setup. I've got a Nikon speedlight here running into the Cactus trigger, and I can control this light now through my Cactus trigger. So this can sit on any camera regardless of brand, and the system will still work the same as if this was a Cactus speedlight. I can control the light coming out of here now using this dial. Just to run through again, any third-party flash, as long as it has TTL in the flash and it's sat onto a trigger, you can control the amount of power coming out of this light by using this trigger. And this is a Nikon speedlight sat on top of a Mark II trigger. All you have to do is make sure the trigger is on, put the speedlight on, turn that on. The auto detect system will detect exactly which brand of flash you're using, and that's what's going to enable you to use TTL and HSS. And that's what's also going to enable you to be able to use the dial to adjust the amount of power coming out of your speedlight. And that's pretty much it, because it's a dedicated system. There's nothing else to do. There's nothing else to worry about. All you have to do is worry about taking the pictures.